Is he coming? I spoke to him this morning. He said he'd be on.
So don't post this on the website, but I had like a bag of weed with 4 pounds of weed in it, and we're in the Sunbeam, and it's in the seat between us, and we get pulled over by the police in coming out of the Holland Tunnel, and the guy goes, he says, "Put your hands on your head." So we put our hands on the head, and he called us back to the car one at a time to yell at us, and then. But right in the front seat of the car was 4 pounds of weed. If he got out of the car, I'd probably still be doing time. So just yeah.
Or he would have made money.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend who was a narc.
Here he comes.
Okay, I'll save this one.
Oh, sorry for the...
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
How are you?
Am I old enough? I've got plenty of grays.
Yeah, you're definitely
You'll pass.
old enough.
You'll pass.
And you're running your own store. I'm sure you got plenty of gray, and you're.
Hey,
Yeah.
You're lucky you have hair if you're running a business.
It was killing me. It is killing me. I looked at a picture for me of in 2019 before all of this, and I had almost no grays and certainly more hair than I do now. But that's okay.
I give gray hair. I don't get
right
it.
here.
Well, you can
I'm
see
all
my
right.
hair. I'm actually 30, so
Yeah.
rough.
You just living hard.
I tell my wife I give gray hair. I don't get it.
There you go.
Okay, let's introduce you to the audience. Give us a little background. Tell us about yourself. What's one thing that people don't know about you? Give us a little background.
Sure. I mean, I am Mr. Alternative Lifestyle, I guess. I didn't graduate high school. I was kicked out once they realized that I was 19 and going to cause a lot of issues because I had a camp on a lake in Maine and in a car. After that, I moved out what happened? So the city, the chief of police in my city, Hollowell, Maine, I'm not going to make this super long, but he said that I either needed to go somewhere else or I was going to get arrested. So I moved to North Andover, Massachusetts, and I was there for a while, and I was kind of floundering around. I got my GED, ended up in AmeriCorps and CCC, which is a great 10-month program for anybody who has kids that are definitely good kids, but don't like authority and don't have confidence or whatever. In retrospect, I realized I didn't have self-confidence, so I was lashing out or whatever. But I went through this AmeriCorps program and gave me self-confidence, gave me a desire to be in a leadership kind of role, and I liked working in teams and all of that. We came back and I started working for Whole Foods Market. Well, really, I started working for Wild Oats and then Whole Foods Market. And after, I thought that was going to be like my career. I was like, this is the greatest place in the world. Everything is amazing. I'm making $14.75 an hour. I can't see how this could possibly get any better. And then I got into the sort of corporate side of it, and it just got gross really fast. And I moved out of Whole Foods and started working in the beer and wine industry in the south end of Boston, which was, essentially dealing with mobsters, and it's all very corrupt, and it was required me to be very
beer there, don't they?
Yeah, it required me to be very drunk by the middle of the day every day, and that'll catch up with you quick. So
Which company were you with?
What's that?
Which company were you with?
Burke Distributing.
Yeah, Burke. Well,
yeah, and Burke. No shade to them; they do it like everybody else. But every morning we'd get there at 8 a.m, and we'd have an hour-long meeting. We'd talk about all the new products, and nobody's spitting. We're drinking hard liquor, beer, and wine at the meeting, and then we're jumping in our cars and going to Boston to sell. And every single bartender, if he's going to buy a keg from you, wants to have a beer with you. I used to have to take naps in a park, like a real drunk, just to get through the day. And it was just wild. So, yeah, the first that caught up with me quick, and I backed away. I really loved the beer and wine industry, but I was recognizing that I maybe had a problem. So I went back into the natural foods world, but I went to Cambridge Naturals, which is in Porter Square, Cambridge. Yeah. And that the family who owns that really put a lot of stock in me and gave me a lot of freedom to kind of do the buying in a creative way. And then I started to get into sort of better management, better communication skills, and that all that morphed to Jade, my wife, then started working there, and she was doing a lot of the graphic design. And we realized we had a pretty good 1-2 punch for retail and running a place. Then we got pregnant. We were in a tiny studio apartment in Somerville. We moved out here in 2015 because we just wanted to be able to have space and an actual house and all that. Bought a house. What's that? Yeah. A place to raise a kid. I couldn't stand up straight in half of the apartment we were in Somerville. I'm 6'5". It was not working. And we got to South Hadley. We bought a house. And then a couple months later, they offered us the business at Cornucopia Market when it was in Northampton. But we didn't have any money. We just bought a car and a house and all this stuff. So it took a few years to figure out the logistics of that. We finally bought it in March of 2019. And then 1 year later was the pandemic. We had to close for 3 months and everything changed then. I was still drinking at that time, so I was a wild man. I was working 9 in the morning till 9 at night, basically every day, because I would work 9 to 5 in the store doing curbside and pickup, and then I would deliver at night. And then all through that, my wife's pregnant with our second kid. Fast forward through, it became really unsustainable to stay in that space. The rent's way too high. It was too small. It was somebody else's baby set up the way somebody else would do it. So when we saw the opportunity to get out of there, we moved to Holyoke. And we were super naive as to what it would take to move into this space. You can kind of see it here. This is the back room space, but I mean, it's massive.
Wow.
So yeah, and so you're looking at the back room space, and back here, this is 3,000 square feet. Then I have another 3,000 square feet in the front.
Oh boy.
And so we finished, the front's all like finished. I can actually walk you over there if you'd like. Want to do a little, the front's all looking great. We have a great little store going. Excuse me, the HVAC is humming. It's real humid where we are. I'm sure it is where you are too, but
That looks fantastic.
Wow, that's a big store.
Much bigger than what you had in Northampton.
yeah. So the sales floor in Northampton is 2,500 square feet. And then we had like another 500 square feet in backstock space. Here we have 3,000 square feet on the sales floor and then 3,000 square feet of backstock space. The biggest trick for us and the terrifying part, and I'll stop talking soon, I promise. But you asked me to come on.
Yeah, no problem. Do your thing, man.
So these three, we'll put a kitchen in over here, and then there'll be like a janitorial closet over there, and then something's got to go around the HVAC stuff. You see there, a walk-in cooler in pieces. So we have an 8x8 walk-in cooler. So this is phase 2. We have to build a kitchen so we can do the fresh produce stuff that we do. That is really important, obviously, the cornucopia thing. So we can only do dry produce until we get the kitchen. So we're making a big push for more funding to get the kitchen. I don't know what else to do except just I know I'm good at this. So it's like, just keep going and keep building, getting the word out and going for it. Yeah, it took over a year to
put your head down and move forward, you know?
Yeah. It took a year to get open, and I will just say the existential dread involved with small business ownership is very real. But we got to this point, we're feeling pretty good. So thanks for reaching out. There's my opening salvo for you.
I'll be there next week, and I'm going to come visit your store.
Please do. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yep. My wife and I will be there, and maybe I'll bring that guy Muscari with me.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
If he's not making believe he's doing something with A.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's got some pretty fancy tech going, so.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Was there ever a time when you said, what did I get myself into?
Multiple times. I mean,
still say it, and I'm retired.
Yeah. I mean, we left Thorns the end of June 2025. We got here, and we were like trying to hit the ground running and just get right back into it. And then a month passed, and then another month passed, and then another month passed. And we finally got connected with the Mass Food Trust program, which enabled us to get a grant, and it enabled us to work with the Franklin County CDC in order to get a really
great organization.
Yeah, they're really great. So we worked with them for the loan that really made everything happen.
Who were you working with up there?
John Waite and Kwaku Ufari. He's a newer guy.
I don't know him, but I know
Kwaku's been really fabulous. He's always he's shown up when we need him to keep us calm and focused. But
that's fantastic.
I mean, I was like, what am I doing? Those first few months, I'm like at home. There's no reason to be here. I'm like, I was like, I should definitely give up on this, and I should definitely go work for Costco. I could be $30 an hour at Costco, get benefits, which is something I've never had.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that would be amazing. But, when I was in that mode, Jade was pushing me to stay focused. And when she was in that mode, I was pushing her to stay focused. And so ultimately, we just kept pushing. It's not for the faint at heart. I think I already mentioned that. But
Nate, what's the competition in the area?
Well, that's part of why we moved here. Our whole mission has been to get real, whole, healthy food, not processed food, to people who don't have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
People in Northampton have access to it. It's a little bit of a diluted area. I mean, especially after the second co-op opened. So no shade to them, but we were sort of taken for granted, maybe not consciously, but in Northampton. So down here in Holyoke, there's nothing like this. The closest thing is the co-op that's 6-7 miles away.
Over in East Hampton, the other co-op.
Yeah. So we were almost going to open in East Hampton, but it was the same kind of thing. It was like, is this really meeting our mission? Whereas down here in Holyoke, this community just can't believe that we would put our money this into this, and
Well,
they're
that's
so
great. Yeah.
they're thrilled. I mean, everybody every day comes in and is just, I can't believe we have one of these kind of stores here now. So it feels really good to have done that, and we're just trying to find the balance between what products to carry to make sure that somebody who comes from Northampton, who's been shopping with us for 46 years, sees the things that they want to see. But then when the community, this immediate community comes in, they see things that make them feel like we actually care and want to be a store for them as well. So it's been interesting striking that balance.
You know what? When I have family up in Whitingham in Vermont, and we go over to Brattleboro all the time, and we go to the co-op up there. And what I notice is the people that go shop there. Number one, they're healthy people. Number two, they like what they see in the store.
Yeah.
They sell a lot of bulk stuff where you can bring your own containers and do that. I mean, it's great. I buy a lot of my spices and stuff like that there.
So we do bulk spices, medicinal herbs, bulk. We do all the bulk stuff, and you can bring your own container. That was all of my Puerto Rican friends from Lawrence. When I moved to North Andover, I made a bunch of Spanish-speaking younger guys my age, Guatemalan, Mexican, Puerto Rican, and they are like, dude, the older people in our communities are all into medicinal healing, especially that like bulk herb stuff. So that's, I direct, when I have somebody come in 70, 80 years old, that's Puerto Rican, I direct them right to that and they get it right away. And that's a thing that's resonating for sure.
Great.
So Phil, you were in the industry for food equipment. I'm wondering, Nate, where did you get your equipment from? Did you shop around and buy it?
Well, some of it we ripped out of the ground of the other place and brought it over here. And then I have an existing relationship with Iron Mountain Refrigeration. And it's just somebody I found early on, and they are really easy to work with. If you have any issues, then they send it on freight, and it's just affordable and somewhat, I don't think it's the nicest stuff out there. I mean, certainly my fridge guy doesn't think that, but it's affordable, and it's been pretty reliable for us. We also, the walk-in, an 8x8 walk-in brand new is 20 grand, something like that. Maybe not quite that much, but it's expensive. We bought that for $1,000 from a tenant on the property who was moving and said, if you can get this out by the end of the week, you can have it for $1,000.
Oh, that's great.
That's the way
we
to
were there the next day, just taking it apart. I was like, yeah, we'll stop everything and just do that, man. So they were like surprised, but I mean, I had it on my back, just piece by piece, walking it over.
It's not easy either.
No, it was extremely unpleasant.
I actually did the kitchen at the Brattleboro Co-op.
Oh, cool.
I went to Wisconsin with the general manager of the store and the CFO and everything. Oh, yeah. And then the guy got murdered.
Really?
Yeah. Employee
story, man. Way to bring it down.
He was at his desk, and an employee went in and shot him in the head and then waited outside for the police to come.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. The guy's name was Michael Martin. Yeah.
Huh. Not anymore.
What kind of food are you going to make with the kitchen? What are you guys making there?
Well, the kitchen primarily is so that we can do the full complement of produce, because we need to be able to sanitize the knives and everything that we use. We need a big stainless steel surface to cut the veggies and take care of that. But in the longer term, we certainly would like to, I don't want to be cooking or putting an oven in here, but we certainly would like to do, like, even when the avocados start to go, making guacamole and packaging, that kind of stuff. Those are things that we're going to be able to do in the space. And then cold sandwiches, we'll do some vegan sandwiches. I'm not vegan, but there's, just from a capitalist standpoint, there's a lot of profit and
especially
money
in that area. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I like a lot of the vegan stuff that's out there now. I eat it, and we have a lot of vegans on our staff, which is shocking. But I see that doing some fresh lunch stuff with like a nice baguette, some things like that would be
that's awesome.
The next thing to do. But we just need to get to that produce part first.
Anytime you're in the college area, you're going to get that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
What kind of supplements do you recommend for people our age?
Yeah, there you go.
If you came in and you were like, I don't take any supplements, what do you think I should be taking? My absolute favorite category is medicinal mushrooms. And we can talk about psychedelics, but that's not even really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like reishi, lion's mane, cordyceps, things that really help with your immune system, your energy level, your adrenal gland, all of that. So stress function. There's a lot to be gained. What's that? Yeah, chaga. Chaga's incredible. Chaga's extremely good for your energy levels. It's really good for anti-cancer. It tastes good. So that would be, I would put you on a multi-mushroom that I felt really confident in. And then I'd give you some fish oil if you were not taking an omega-3.
Yeah, I take that every day.
Yeah, and then we talk about, all right, do you have like joint pain? We get you into something that had a good anti-inflammatory joint support thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm not a big advocate for multivitamins. I think it can be good if you're someone who's burning the candle at both ends, that you can get a lot of you can fill some gaps in your diet that you maybe didn't know you have. But a lot of multivitamins, yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of the way we digest things. I don't think they're out to get you with multivitamins, but you're pissing a lot of it out. So it's kind of,
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can, I was taking some stuff and the recommendation was that it had peptin in it because that helps deliver it to your blood system better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah. And so if you know, like you've been to the doctor, you've had a blood test, you know, you have some issues,
Yeah.
we can deal with that. I mean, the number, like, because mushrooms is experiential. So not just the psychedelics thing. I can help you with that too, but the
Nothing wrong with those.
yeah, and chaga and that kind of stuff, it's experiential in a way. I mean, I'm sure you feel it a little bit in the morning beyond just the coffee. So those are a good entry point for people in the supplements category. But there's so much stuff over there. I'm a big advocate for a good collagen too. I think there's a ton there in terms of just skin health, hair health, joint health. But yeah, I mean, I can go off about supplements. I'm
You know,
my
what I know
son's
about
40
joints
years
is how thick they are, you know?
Yeah. No, and I have a 73-year-old mom who I'm very close with, and she is very good about telling me if I'm selling something that's completely unacceptably large. She's got the Boston accent. First day she was in here, we had our front door had like some challenging. It's not great. It wasn't great for entry, and I watched a bunch of elderly people almost trip and fall on their face. My mother said, "You better close and fix it right now. Somebody's gonna die. You're gonna go to jail." But she was right ultimately, and so we had a guy come in like that day and build a platform, make everything smoother, so that now that issue isn't happening. But
Hey, I think we all know that owning a business isn't a 9 to 5 job. And
no,
what's the hardest part people never say?
I think people assume that I have money. I think it's interesting because I think that there's this like, oh, well, it's like a mom and pop and it's selling fancy things. I don't consider organic food fancy. I think that's the wrong mindset. It's just good food that doesn't have crap in it. But so that people think of it as a fancy thing, and so they think I'm making a ton of money, and I have to tell them that this is, in a lot of cases, the same or lower margin than conventional stuff. And so I have actually no money. I'm actually behind on all my bills. I do this for the love of it. I know it's hard for you to hear that, but I think also, yeah, I mean, there is no time when I'm not on doing something for the store. And we also do have children, and we also have house to keep up and all of that stuff. So it's a lot more work than people. It's a genuine skill that when you come in and you see me, I seem calm and unstressed. That's a skill. That's not reality. That's like something I've gained over time because I want you to buy things and I want you to feel like I'm chill and fine and everything's going great. But that's not the reality, and it's almost never is. And so it's almost like a double-edged sword where like people think that means everything's hunky-dory, and I'm like, no, you got to spend some money while you're here, please.
Yeah. They say if you can't baffle them with brilliance, dazzle them with bullshit, right?
I mean, I can do both.
You have to do you compete with Amazon a lot?
We don't purposely try to compete with Amazon at all. I mean, if anything, like I'm just very direct. If somebody says, well, I got this on Amazon and I paid less, then I would say, I mean, I think if you're confident with what you're buying on Amazon for that price, you should continue to do it. I paid, there's oftentimes with Amazon, it's like, I'll pay $31 wholesale and I'll have a markup to $49.99, for example, which isn't a crazy markup.
No.
And then they'll say, well, I bought it for 33 online. And I'll say, well, my wholesale is 31, so I can't operate like that. And I've shown invoices. They're like, this is what I paid.
Yeah. Yep.
After the senior discount, I'm going to make $9 on this bottle.
Yeah, I sold restaurant equipment for a very long time, and then when Amazon started getting bigger and bigger, I had to fight that battle every day. It's just kind of crazy, but
well,
I'm happy to fight.
My neighbor that's also advertises on here, Robert's Tool. They've been in business for 60 years, and he is struggling just to keep. He's got 40 employees. He's struggling to keep the business going because these people have been with him that long. And go buy a tool. Go buy the tools on Amazon. Then they bring them to him to fix, and it's not the same quality than if you're buying.
No, people don't realize there are different qualities for different.
He can't fix the stuff, and he tells them right away.
It's like
Well,
buying a refrigerator. If you buy it from Home Depot, it's one kind of thing, and if you buy it
They're
from
made for them. Yeah.
Annie's or reputable store locally, it's a different quality.
yeah, I mean, I think our saving grace is that what we sell are things you're either putting on or in your body for the most part. And that is a category where people are more weary to buy it all from Amazon.
Mhm.
So people want us to pick out their own product. So we do benefit from that a bit. But I mean, we also will, like, I can think of like Garden of Life as a supplement brand, Solgar. These brands are all owned by Nestle now. And they have a thing called MAP, minimum advertised pricing. And they threw that out the window when they were bought by Nestle. I went to my rep from Garden of Life and said, you're selling below wholesale. I'm going to drop the line. And he was like, oh, no, don't drop the line. I was like, no, look. And I sent him photos. Everything's on discount clearance. It's going away. And he was like, you can't just drop the line. I was like, 100% I can just drop the line. What are you talking about? You guys aren't doing, you're making me sign a thing that says I won't sell it for less than a certain amount, but then you're physically taking money from me on it. Like, no. So, and then we'll tell those stories to the customers. And I'm very happy to tell a customer, I understand Garden of Life, basically that product you were using is pretty good. But here's all the problems with buying that product. And here's a comparative product at a better price. And, just say like, I'll just say don't support these companies. And I mean, this was the craziest thing. I had, GT's kombucha?
Yeah.
The biggest kombucha brand out there.
Sure. Yeah. It's been around for a while.
Yeah. So the actual GT Dave is a complete, just slimy scumbag. He's so gross. You can look him up. But he had all these labor complaints, like thousands of labor complaints in his plants. People like sweating into vats and just not getting to take, like Amazon style complaints. We dropped the line, and we advertised that we dropped the line for that reason. We got the co-op to briefly drop the line. Then they picked it back up because they saw that they weren't going to make the money they were making anymore. We still don't carry GTs. When I announced it online, GT Dave called me, and with a literal, like the whiniest voice ever, was like, why? This guy is a effing hundreds of millionaire. And he called my little 2,500 square foot store and whined at me about the fact and said it was all lies. And I said, listen, Dave, when someone does what you're doing, it just confirms to me that it is definitely not all lies. So we're going to not carry your product, and we're going to be fine with that. But I'm sure you will also be fine. So
I'm amazed he called you.
He called me. It was GT Dave. It was the guy.
I'm shocked.
So those types of experiences are like nuts. I put him on speakerphone. I had my whole staff around me, and they were just laughing. Listen to this fucking guy.
My son and daughter-in-law, they make their own kombucha. And and my 3-year-old grandson, they give him a little bit of it and they put water in it, and he goes.
Yeah, my son likes the idea of sparkling water, but he drinks it and he's like, oh yeah, I love it. He's like almost 6, but he never drinks the. I always pour just a little in a cup. He gets like insulted, but I'm like, you don't actually like it.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Never been a kombucha.
Yeah. When they make their coffee, they do the cappuccinos and they got the machine and everything. He just froths some of the milk and he puts it in a cup and he calls it a baby chino, and that's what he likes to drink. It's a baby. He's got the white mustache from it.
Hey, what's the best business advice you've ever received?
Oh, I've had a lot of beauties. The Michael Cantor, the guy who started Cambridge Naturals, he told me business is always good, which is just in a way that you communicate to the public. Business is always good. Business is always good. I think there is a limit. There's a point of diminishing returns with that, obviously. But even if you have to, in other words, you have to kind of consider the person you're talking to, even if you've had a weird day or 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. You need to be just really animated and fun for them I'm always playing host with the most here. The other thing is, you need to lay a foundation that includes the community that you're in, the staff that you've employed, and the way the business operations are. You have to have, if you are going to start a business with employees, you have to have a really firmly in place staff handbook. You have to actually do the things you say you're going to do in the staff handbook, because nobody likes to have an uncomfortable conversation with a staff member. But honestly, if you can do that in a way that's respectful and clear, you actually create a workspace that is safer and makes them feel more secure, because then they're working somewhere that's doing exactly what they said they were going to do in their handbook.
Business, I never even thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, we hire people that like from 15 years old to in their 60s. So we have to be consistent across the board. And we weren't doing that at first. And we just had so much more drama than was needed or necessary or helpful. So
Yeah.
we have avoided that I never wanted to be in the nitty gritty with the like HR stuff, but like it's crucially important for us. Yeah. I mean, especially like, again, if you're going to have employees.
Do you
I would
find
say the customer is not always right. I think that is antiquated as shit. I'm really happy to educate people. I'm really happy to let nasty comments fly my way within reason and all that stuff. But ultimately, most people don't know, getting back to the comment, it's like they don't know what we're really doing here. They don't understand how much money we're actually making, and they don't know how much work we're actually putting in. I mean, our financial lives are fully on the line in this space.
Absolutely.
So if you come to me and you want to tell me that something should cost a certain amount, when I've done the work to look at the invoice and to price it fairly, that's fine. Thank you for expressing your opinion to me. I am really grateful that you're in my store and that you want to buy things from me. The price is listed there in front of the products. We have a senior discount if you're 65. You know, that's the deal. And it's the customer. The customer's not always right. I learned that at Whole Foods, that the customer was always right, and I can tell you they don't feel that way anymore either. So
Yeah. But
do
I'll
you,
tell you.
do you find that people want crazy money when you try to hire them?
Well, I mean, I'm sensitive to that because I was an employee for most of my. I worked a lot since I was 14 on. I worked at nursing homes, newspapers, tech centers, all this stuff, and so I never got paid a lot, and I never understood the process for getting raised, stuff like that. We certainly get applications from people who want 15 hours a week at $25 an hour to run the register.
That's what I'm saying.
That is like that's a non-starter. But I also recognize that if you're going to work full time and you really get bought in, I'm really happy to pay you. You know, I don't think nobody makes under $18 an hour here.
Oh, that's really good.
And I wouldn't want to do it any other way. If we had to pay people, and we don't have benefits, other than really good discounts for the staff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and being a nice place to work. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the minimum, the actual livable wage in no matter how, depending on how you do the math, the livable wage in Massachusetts is something like $32 an hour. I mean, if you're looking at inflation and all of that sort of stuff. So, and nobody, including myself, makes that. So yeah, I mean, we definitely get some wild people. I think more of what we get is the assumption that we're a really laissez-faire place to come and work and just sort of spend some time in a nice place with a nice vibe and all this with nice people. But the sheer amount of work, we operate with 6 people, and 2 of them are Jade, my wife and business partner, and me. So there's an absolute epic amount of work to do all the time. And there's a misconception that you can come in and make $18 an hour and not work. In the distant past, I've fired people for saying, and I'm not like proud of this, but like I had a young woman come up to me and say, you know, I work 4 days a week for you, but I really only work 2 because of what you pay. And I mean, I think she was making like $14.50 an hour. It was before the $50.
And it shows.
And I was like, hey, why don't you not come back?
Yeah.
And she was like so surprised.
Yeah. Boy, that's
and I was like,
your face comment, isn't it?
I was like, you just said that to me, and honestly, it sounds like I can do better for an employee. So why don't you not come back? I'll pay you for today, and that'll be it. And she was just like, are you serious? And I'm like, very. What other response would I have to that?
Yep. I was in the union, and guys are making $40-$50 an hour, and young guys.
Yeah.
They'd be like, I'm only here from the neck down. I said, well, your neck and the rest of you is out the door tomorrow. So go work for your father. Go work for somebody else. You're not working for me with your neck down.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. But for the most part, people get what we're trying to do and why we do it. So we get good applicants and we take our time with it. We have a core group of people. We had 4 people that waited over a year to work for us again. So we must be doing something right.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good point. Hey, Nate, why don't you give us a 30-second invitation for everybody to stop by, tell us why they should, and give us your pick.
Sure. In the 80s, everybody was opening mom and pop natural food stores. It was very popular and accessible, and it was affordable to be able to do that in a lot of towns and cities across the country. Over time, those stores have been erased by large big box stores. Unfortunately, that's just what capitalism does. End stage capitalism is very strange, and that's where we're at. But we are unique in that we are one of the last true health food stores that's independently owned and operated, not just in Western Massachusetts, which is true, but there's less and less, again, in the country. So if you want to see what it's like to actually get good, knowledgeable customer service, if you want to see what it's like to come into a space, walk around for an hour, sometimes two, not buy that much stuff and feel like you were really welcomed the whole time, come to our space. If you want to see a bunch of products that have been specifically curated by me, my wife, and our other buyers, products that you've never seen anywhere else, come to our space. It will be like no other store you've ever been into. It will have music playing that you never would expect. It will have just a really interesting experience. And then once you buy from us, you can take your receipt over to our lovely neighbors in the restaurant business and get 10% off your meal there. And then you can take the receipt over to the cannabis business and get 10% off the cannabis over there.
Hey, get them signed up on our web, will you?
It's a real, yeah, I did. I tried. I'll do it again. Hold on, Jade. What's up? Yeah. Oh, I have a meeting with UGS. I have a meeting with our phone people.
Okay.
Do you guys have a website? Do you have a website?
Cornucopiaholyoke.com. And I will sign up again, Bob. I tried, but something happened. I'll try again.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thank you for being on, Nate.
I'll see you Thursday or Friday next week.
All right, cool. We'll see you then. Thanks.
Hey,
guys.
good luck to you. Good luck. Sounds awesome.
Talk some shit. See
Okay,
you
guys.
later.
Thank you.
Yeah, peace.
Take care. Good show. Good show. Hard worker.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I lived closer now. I would go there.
You know, my neighbor who I was telling him about, who's in business by himself, you know, that they're independent.
Yeah.
He always tells me, he goes, Kevin, the profit's in the buying, not the selling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not what you sell it for, it's what you paid for it. That's what they used to say in the restaurant. Yeah. See you soon.